All right. So we're going to call the June 2020 Chandlers Landing Board of Directors meeting to order. Mr. Vice President, can we verify a quorum for the open meeting?
We do have a quorum of 5 members. We have 2 members present due to illness.
Absent.
Or not,
yes, sir.
not absent, I'm sorry, due to illness.
Yep. Okay. All right. Going to move into the ratification of a,
excuse me, Mr. President, I want to confirm it's not illness and as in COVID-19. So
thank you for that clarification. That is necessary to have those kinds of clarifications. So thank you. Not that. All right. We'll move into the ratification of electronic votes. There was a vote made on May 18th of 2020 to approve the Board of Director meeting minutes from the May meeting.
So moved.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Unanimous. All right. And then we also had a vote made to approve the remodeling contract with Mershon Associates for a not to exceed number of 1.969.
I'll make a motion to move to ratify the electronic vote for the 1.69 million.
Okay. 1.969.
I'm sorry, 1.969 million.
Sorry. All right. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Randy will second that. And then all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Unanimous. Okay. Move into the report section. I will go first. We've got a lot going on right now. Not to take anyone's thunder later on, but we have gotten approval on the building permit from Rockwall. That was a little bit longer process than we anticipated. Apparently they were doing some training on some new software. So that sets us up ready to move forward and rock and roll on the remodel. For those of you that have peered in from the windows or whatnot, it's looking really amazing. We're, as with any sort of project like this, we're uncovering some pretty significant scary things that we found in demo, but it's just proof that this building that has really good bones, 45 years in, it's time for a project like this. It basically hasn't seen any love for 35 years as it's been shifted back and forth between hands of other owner operators. And now that it's back in our fold, thankfully to the previous board, then it's time to go ahead and do all of that 35 years, get it brought up to speed, up to code, and set it up for the next 45 years. So it's a big project. It's a fun project. We're really excited to see the end result and for you all to see it. Hold on one second. We got a couple other people there wanting to be admitted. Sorry, running the meeting on Zoom is fun. So pool side of things has been pretty good, and we've been having a little bit, normal numbers. Up on the weekends we're seeing over 40 or so, and all is kind of normal on that front. We look forward to not having to do anything COVID related. Next year it will make opening everything significantly better. We do have, in case any of you have seen, we do have a natural phenomenon that has happened over on Fountain Pond. We've got some fish that are floating. We've had 2 different independent people look at it, and basically the response that has come back, and some had historic knowledge that this has happened 2 other times. Once about 13 years ago, and then once in the, I think, late 90s. That pond is the smallest of the 4 that we have. It's super susceptible to heat temperatures. We hadn't had rain in a long time, which also can help keep that pond cool. And so because of the increased heat that we had, while we had no rain, looks like we had some fish die off. So we are aware of it, and it's unfortunate, but part of the circle of life, I guess, on that side of things. Security concerns, we're still having some issues, but overall pretty good. And then we also have Taste of Chandlers tonight. There'll be probably quite a few residents from Chandlers, but also some from Rockwall that will be on Marina property tonight. I want a friendly reminder, we are under a fire watch for the yacht club because of where we're at with the sprinklers. So no one is allowed on the yacht club property, underneath the decks, on the decks. I know those are great vantage points for a wonderful fireworks show that we're going to see, but absolutely not allowed. And you will see security out there trying to help curtail any of that. We just want safety for everyone. So trying to think if there's been anything else big here over the last month. It's been fast and furious, but we're going back to the yacht club. It looks like, you know, we're shooting for fall 2020, and we're hoping that it's earlier fall, and we'll keep you apprised as that develops. We also should have in the next coming weeks some vision boards up in the office and or the yacht club just inside the door, so that you guys can start catching the vision of everything that is about to take place down there. It's going to be really nice, really beautiful, and very warm and inviting. So all right, give me 1 second here. So that takes care of President's report. Treasurer, all of the financials have been posted to Town Square, so they're there for your review. Things are going normal on that front. We've also made a major replacement back to reserves of I believe it was 170,000. T, can you confirm that number?
I can confirm.
Okay, cool. So that was a nice thing to do, as we've had some expenses over the last 6 or so months prepping building down at the yacht club and other things. We also have street signs that are going to be coming in hopefully very, very soon. It will be definitely before year end. I'm hoping it'll be maybe even before fall. And these are going to look really, really nice and be a nice upgrade for the neighborhood, and also from a safety standpoint, which is one of the big reasons it was being replaced. For EMS as they're coming through, just to be able to see things. These will also be all TxDOT approved heights, and I believe the signs will be reflective as well. So it'll be a really nice upgrade for the neighborhood. So all right, on to management report. T, you are up.
Good morning. So as far as management, just to begin, we have 7 new families that have joined our community in the month of May. And in regards to the increase in reserve funds, that occurred in the month of June, so that'll be reflected in the June financials. We are presently in the process of our reserve study with a completion date of probably the 3rd to 4th week of July. We, thanks to the help of Bruce, we are working on a tree study right now. We have a lot of landscape needs in our community. We are also working on our irrigation system, and that'll kind of go on throughout summer. And then a big hands up to the Art of the Month group committee. They've worked really hard beautifying the community. As Evan mentioned, we have Taste of Chandlers today with live music and fireworks, food trucks, and just asking everybody to stay safe and practice social distancing. We have done some work on the pools. A push valve had to be replaced and a safety vacuum release. We have been issuing new pool passes throughout the month. And we've had some increased needs in the community as far as dumpster service. We've done some landscaping and that required, and also as far as with the landing, some cleanup. And kind of moving forward, after Taste of Chandlers, looking forward to our 4th of July. There are some guidelines, CDC social distancing guidelines that we'll work through. We'll have food trucks, we'll space them out, and then the events committee will update on the golf cart and bike parade. Pretty much that's it for right now. If you have any questions, please call the office. We do ask that you wear a mask if you come into the office, but we are there from 8:30 till 5, Monday through Friday. And hope everybody has a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, T.
Thank you, T. All right, Chip, you're up on security.
Okay, a couple of things. We're having some issues with unlicensed minors driving golf carts. These are children that are under our age or are of age but don't have not received a license. Security is doing their job by checking for the driver's license. If they don't have it, they're escorting the individuals home with a golf cart. I know some parents aren't happy about that, but we do have regulations relative to operation of golf carts. So we just ask respectfully that you get your children properly permitted and don't let children that are underage drive your golf carts. We have, we're working with the city of Rockwall regarding boat trailers and trucks parking on Henry M. Chandler up on the grass next to our fence. I've been in contact with the city on that. They're checking into it, what their alternatives are in terms of signing it for no parking, particularly the area probably 30 or 40 feet on either side of the harbor landing gate. It's pretty much go out that gate at your own risk on Saturday and Sunday. Part of the issue is the boat ramps in Rowlett and Garland on Lake Great Hubbard are closed. And so this is one of the two boat ramps in Rockwall, the Chandlers ramp, and then the ramp off the 66 bridge, and they're having similar challenges up there. We implemented the checking driver's license for individuals under the age of 18. That seems to be going okay. And then again, from midnight to 6 a.m., it's call first for anyone. Doesn't matter the age that's coming into the community that's not a resident. Other than that, I think we have everything covered. And as Evan said tonight with the fireworks, we just asked, it's by order of the fire marshal, the city of Rockwall. There's no one allowed in the building or on the building, meaning the upstairs deck or under the patio at any time because of the construction. So we just would ask that you respect the directive from the fire department. And if you're up there, we're going to ask you to leave. So that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Chip. Chip, can we circle back on the kids in the golf cart side of things? Do we remember what's the age? Is it 12 with a parent and then 14 without?
Yes, I believe that's correct. Okay. And we're seeing children younger than the age of 12 driving golf carts with their parents, and just we have rules for a reason, and these are private streets, and you're putting undue liability on the homeowners association and your other residents when you do that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, moving into old business. Chip, you're up again for the street sign update.
Okay, so in your packet were the quotes from Vulcan Signs out of Foley, Alabama. This is the company that the city of Rockwall uses for their street signs. So I've been working with them over the last couple of months on some design elements. You should have had some graphics in there. The signs are, again, kind of a resort vision. These are not your typical galvanized street sign pole. It's a little bit certainly fancier than that. Has a nice look. We had received 2 other quotes for a similar setup. This is just a little bit different. This is the least expensive of any of those out of the 3 quotes. One was as high as, I think, 140,000. The other one was close to 90,000. This one is just under 50. There may be some opportunities to reduce the cost here, but for the sake of time today, I'll answer any questions from board members. There's a lead time about 5 to 6 weeks on this. The price actually, and I sent the wrong one, so I think the price is right around 53,000 with the city of Rockwall tax somewhere in there, 53 or 54,000. And then freight can't be determined until all the product is selected. So that would be a plus freight to get it here. It does not include installation. So the life of the sign itself, so it has a the highest grade of reflectivity on it that comes in different grades. So these are spec'd with high grade reflectivity on the signs. The average, the lifespan of that reflectivity is about 12 years. And could be longer, but that's what they quote. I think it's actually a 3M product. So these are, these will be easily to identify at night. The posts are powder coated, and then they have, some other design elements with the post and all that. So the number may vary a little bit here. We've got to finish up, make sure we've got a complete inventory of the signs. The signs will be printed on both sides. And then we also have stop signs, some speed limit signs, and then what I'd call, I think, a few wayfaring signs at this time. Could be more down the line. So, and then we'll have to figure out, once we get it all here, how we're going to get them installed. Any questions, I'll be happy to answer it.
The powder coated nature of the posts and whatnot, I hear what you're saying on the 12 years for the signs. Those are not the biggest part of the expense, from what I understood it. A lot of it is going to be post related, but those posts are going to last significantly longer and will be way low maintenance compared to wooden signs. Am I thinking correctly?
Yeah, yes, but in total transparency, what unfortunately we can't predict is weed eaters are not your friend on the sign. So the question is going to become how we're going to mount, set the sign pole to protect that. I've asked them for some, because it's powder coated, and powder coating is not actually, it's not real paint. And so can we get some type of matching paint that if we had to do some touch-ups, that type of thing. The pole itself is galvanized underneath. It's going to last for a long time, longer than the sign itself probably, in terms of the reflectivity part of it, but we do run the risk of it getting dinged up. So that the only way to avoid that is just to use a regular galvanized post, which is not what we have talked about.
No. Yeah.
So,
well,
Chip,
yeah.
Back to the reflectivity properties of the actual signs. What looking forward, when they lose their reflectivity, what are the options to restore that? Can we restore the reflectivity to replace the sign itself? I mean, what?
Yeah, I would say, I don't have a real answer on that, Randy. That's a great question. I think the solution is you just get the sign. Either you probably get a new sign, and today they run about $65 for printing on both sides. So in that range, it's in the quote there. You can pull it out. So see. But I would say
I think
replacing the sign
fair.
is probably what's going to have to happen.
Did I understand that there may be some? It looked like the brackets are really expensive. Are there?
They are.
Options for those?
There is an option for the same bracket that the city of Rockwall uses, which is really a standard that fits in the top of the pole, and it's the sign ends up looking, one's mounted here and then one on top, and then the finial goes on, the cap goes on top of that.
Right.
That's probably powder coated. She didn't have a firm price. I asked about that yesterday when I talked to her. Is somewhere under $20, 18, $20 for that, to get that. It would be custom powder coated. So
yeah, the thing about it is we're trying to do something that, because we're a unique community, trying to make sure that we have a nice look. This will be similar, I think, based upon what I'm seeing, of some of how the Heath signs are, where it has like a little emblem of, we would have the emblem of Chandlers and then the street sign on the other side of the pole. So it kind of, if you've seen those, it'll be somewhat similar to that. And I just did quick math on it, but roughly if we have to replace all of the signs, just the sign portion, not the posts or the brackets or whatever, every 10 years or so, you're looking at about $4,000 every 10 years to maintain proper.
Yeah, the other option is you could save, so that the logo is a 9-inch separate sign. You could actually print the logo onto the street sign itself and probably eliminate some costs there. That's something I could talk to her about. I mean, it could have a similar look. I think the question then is the frame or the bracket that goes around the sign, how much room there is to work that in there. But that we had that discussion. I wasn't able to talk to her yesterday until late yesterday afternoon. So I can follow up on that.
Okay.
I just would like to, if the board is inclined to approve, let's say $54,000, that'll take care of the tax, and then the shipping's on top of that. I'll continue to work the number to see if I can, come back to the board with some other solutions. But again, it's a 5 to 6 week lead time. We've got some work to do to verify we've got all the streets, we got the right number of signs. We're going to need a little flexibility in here.
Yeah, understand. I would. So that's a motion.
I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Okay. I would second that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Any other?
Or questions?
Aye.
Okay. Unanimous. All right, Chip, tell us about what's going down at the club.
Well, there's not much going on down there. It's actually a joke. The great news is late yesterday afternoon, we got word from the city of Rockwall that they actually have issued the building permit. We just need to deliver, check the fees for the permit to them. We anticipate picking that up on Monday. A group of us spent the better part of 2.5 hours with Mershon, going over cost, bid elements. Met with our interior designers, so we make sure we're all on the same page in terms of construction details, design details that we need to get worked in. We still have more work to do in terms of some of the real detail work on security cameras, card access systems, telecom, audiovisual, things like that. So we'll be working on that over the next few weeks. We'll be working with Kemper on positioning, finalizing the kitchen equipment requirements, things of that. We ordered the elevator on Thursday. So we've the lead time on that. So now that we've given them a deposit and signed off on the interior cab finishes and the door finishes, once that's submitted, we hopefully next week we'll get a firm date on they're made to order, and it's about could be as long as 10 weeks, and then takes about 2 weeks to install it. So that's moving along. All of the fire suppression system is being removed from the building right now. The city wouldn't allow us to use the existing pipes because of their age, and so that's being done. Final selections are Mershon's getting subcontractors, the trades lined up, and so that's where we are.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Chip. And just to kind of circle back on one thing or two things there, from a timing perspective, we had 2 items that were the longest lead times, and that is something that we took care of on Thursday, as far as getting all of that approved, so that the big picture here is that we're trying to push this along as quickly as possible.
Right.
But we want to make sure,
elevators and doors, surprisingly, are long lead times for doors. So
yeah, very good. Okay, all right. So I think that's back to me for a pools update. We've mentioned this a couple times, but I'll start with small pool. We've got a lot of requests to open that. What we've said before, and so what I want to restate again, is because of where we're at with COVID and the different precaution measures that we're having to put in place to, as best as we can, ensure safety of the residents, as well as proper tracking, so that if there was ever anyone that came down with it, that we could know exactly who we would need to notify that might have been in close proximity, as well as sanitation, and reporting on all of those different aspects. To open the small pool would cost us, and right now we're at a capacity of 10, based upon the 50%. So for 10 people to be able to use the facility, it would cost us around $20,000 to open that for the remaining pool season. That is, with everything we have going on, that is just not in the budget numbers this year. I respectfully ask that all of our neighbors get on board and understand that this has been a challenge to even open, and it's been expensive to open. We're spending roughly $23,000 down at the big pool to put all these measures in place, and just not in the cards for the small pool this year. We hope that this is a 1 out of 45, 46 years that this has ever happened, and one time, and hoping that we never have to go through this again. We understand it's an inconvenience and a frustration to a lot of people, but it is what it is, and we're trying to be wise with everything else that we have going on right now with the budget. On going back to the big pool, typically small numbers, which is normal in the summer. You're not going to see 40 people down there at 10 o'clock on a work day. It's usually single digits, and that's historically kind of what we have. The times where we see the big uptick in numbers is weekends, and anything around holiday side of things. So right now we're based upon state requirements, we're at 82 people that can be present in there. You're having to check in and check out, and that allows us to do the reporting, additional reporting that we need to do on that side of things. We, by and large, have had a pretty good run as far as the big pool is concerned. We've had a couple incidents. We've tried to deal with those as quickly as possible, and I think that we have done so successfully on that. So not super fun with all the COVID restrictions, but is what it is. And again, we're trying to do our best to keep the community safe. Yeah, so I think that's it on pools.
Mr. President,
Yes,
Evan,
ma'am.
can you please talk about the lap swim that we extended some hours?
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So Tuesdays, we'd had a demand and request from multiple residents for a specifically lap swim health side of things at the big pool. And so we have gotten the pool monitors to add in those additional hours to be watching the pool and monitoring it. That's going to be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I do not have the times in front of me. If anyone does have that, feel free to let me know.
I think it's 7:30 a.m. if I'm not mistaken.
It's 7 till 7:30 to 9:30 Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then 8:30 to 9:30 on Saturdays.
Okay. So
I'll
anyone
verify
wanting,
that, but that's my recollection.
okay, so anyone wanting to take advantage of pure lap swimming, that would be the time to do it. There's not going to be anyone else in there doing anything other than lap swimming at that time. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturday mornings. All right. Thank you for that heads up, Lizzie. All right. That takes us to new business. So we have we've had a long time need down at the pool as you're coming down the upper steps. Actually, here, let me give some context here. We're going to be talking about the upper steps, which is going to be from the tennis courts or yacht club down to the pool, and then the lower steps, which is from the pool down to the marina sidewalk. So had a long-term need to beautify those areas, as well as replace old nasty wood tie retaining walls. We've had a lot of different perspectives on this, and there might be some future changes in addition to these, but to get us started off, we're going to be focusing on the lower steps, getting all of those retaining walls redone, re-landscaping, proper irrigation, and then on the upper steps, if you're at the pool looking up on that right-hand side that borders the tennis court 1 and the pro shop, redoing that one section, and I believe some railing work as well, and then a future project potentially to do something different with as far as the approach. But for now, from a budgetary standpoint, this looks like this is going to be the direction we're going to be heading, and it will definitely update and make that whole area look really nice. I believe the plan also is to engage with Yard of the Month to help on some of the planting potentially as well. So I believe we have, so I'll make a motion that we approve up to, for both areas, up to $22,000 to redo retaining walls, landscaping, etc. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Chip, Lizzie. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Any discussion? No.
No. Well,
Okay.
I just think I would just want to say that we hope to come in under that number. It's a not to exceed number, and the
Yes.
intent here is not to spend that much money. So.
Right. We're trying to keep our costs down as we're making significant improvements everywhere. We're trying to keep our costs down as much as we can, and get the overall project funded. So, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Unanimous. All right, Chip, that's over to you for the lighting design.
Okay, so part of what we need to get accomplished is to retain GMR to do a engineered lighting design for the facility. So they'll be working with Courtney Adams, our interior designer, on the look, and with Mershon and the MEP engineers to make sure we're doing all the correct energy calculations, etc. So the cost for this service is $2,700, and they'll give us, the intent here is to use all energy efficient, probably, I would say in some cases, this just for the interior. So this will be all hopefully LED. There may be a few areas that it's not appropriate, but we'll let them make that call. That's their expertise. So, and again, they're not, the good thing here is they're not selling us light fixtures. They're just providing us with a design and specing fixtures for us, and then we'll be able to go use some of contacts that some of us have then to get the fixtures. So
Great. Okay.
I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I'd like to make a motion. Are we ready for a motion on this?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we allow $2,700 to let GMR come up with a light design for the yacht club.
Okay, I'll second that. Any discussion?
A little bit of discussion just for the benefit of people that are listening, is the city requires with the energy codes and all this, there's a lot of reasons this is very smart money to be spent in something like this. When they design these, especially with LED that's available now, it easily more than covers the cost of something like this to have them come in and do this. Plus, I believe it's required by the city of Rockwall as part of the energy package that we submit to them. So that's it.
Yeah, and this coupled with new windows and whatnot, we do anticipate some fairly significant energy savings for the building.
Yes, sir.
Which will play out in our monthly cost. So good.
Right. The other advantage to LED lights in this context is they don't generate any heat, where incandescent fixtures generate a lot of heat. So those, in addition to the electrical savings, you're also going to get savings as you're not having to use as much AC to cool a place, especially in the ballroom.
Or a fire hazard.
Correct.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we've had discussion. Anybody else? Okay. We got a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Okay. All right. Chip and Randy, you guys are up for the final part of our new business.
Okay, so as we get into here, we've already started to get some of this. In order to move this project along as quickly as we can, we know everybody's anxious to get the yacht club back open. Time becomes of essence here, and that there are going to be the gotchas, as I call them, surprises as Randy calls them, are going to come up that are going to require some quick decisions to be made. We're just asking for approval of up to $10,000. I know it seems like a lot of money, but in some cases it's not going to be that much. But change orders that come to light that need to be made quickly rather than having to convene either through an email vote or post for a special meeting. We would just respectfully ask that the board give us approval up to $10,000. The caveat on this is we'll We'll let you know immediately after if we approve anything like this, so you know what's going on and work to get it ratified appropriately, but just to keep the project moving along here. We don't want days and hours right now are very important. So Rainey and I'll be happy to answer any questions. We don't, this is, hopefully we're not going to have to use this regularly, but I think experientially know there's going to be something come up. So.
Okay. I don't have any issue with that.
Well, I just make it in a form of a motion then, that you authorize us to do that.
Okay. All right. So we have first from Chip. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Lee's going to second that discussion. I would add this one thing on for everybody that's watching and listening in. A big part of what we're trying to do on this whole project is to make sure that we have good transparency. And part of what we discussed with Mershawn was as the project goes, and especially after we're finished, that we will have a detailed report of everything that happened, where money was spent, timeline, etc., so that we can make sure that we're managing the funds as effectively as possible. So anyways, that is the heart and desire of the board, and just wanted to kind of reiterate that aspect of things. All right, so we had a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, passes unanimously. All right, that takes us through the end of the meeting to the owner visitor forum. So we'll open that up for anyone that wants to raise their Zoom hand and has a question. We'll unmute you and listen to your question and try to give you answers.
So Evan, I have a question from Russ Martin, if I could just start with that. So Russ's question is, apparently he has technical challenges, so he texted this to me.
Okay.
So his question is, why can't we conduct board meetings outside the club in front under the canopy or at some other innovative location so that residents can attend in person, perhaps Heath High School, perhaps the park, or at HOA office with mask mandatory on, something to enhance attendance.
Yeah,
and
I appreciate that.
The one, I can answer the first part of it. We can't meet under the canopy for two reasons. One is it's part of the building structure and the city won't allow it. And two, it's not going to be there much longer.
All right. I would also say we've moved, because of COVID, we've moved from Facebook Live to Zoom. Part of that has also been good, and we plan on continuing to do Zoom meetings, hopefully together at some point here in the future. But the point is that in order to do that, we also need to have internet connection and a good solid internet connection. So any sort of outdoor situation is not going to provide what we need there, and it's already fairly complicated. None of you guys can see this. I'm literally using a large computer and a phone to run this meeting. It's pretty complicated process to be involved in the meeting and also run the tech side of it. But what this does is it gives us recorded meetings, and I think we need to stay with that from a historical standpoint. I would love nothing more than to return to normal life as quickly as possible. But until we have the warm fuzzy from the state on this, I think it needs to continue this way. And even after that, we will be meeting together, but we will still be doing Zoom. Although at that point, we'll be able to allow residents back in. So this is not the desired path, but it's what we're having to do at this time. So definitely understand and sympathize and want it to be differently in the future as quickly as possible.
Personally, I really miss the interaction. This is
Me too.
nature to do this.
Nope.
And I was hoping we'd be able to meet in the office just as a group this morning, and we decided not to do that. But just so everybody understands that this is, I really don't like this type of format for meetings. And I'm a people person and I love being in an open forum, but unfortunately, it's just not time for us to do that.
Yeah, this is just a year that's throwing us a lot of curveballs from a getting together aspect of things and the pool side of things and on. So did
Hey,
Liz,
Evan.
yeah, Lee, yeah.
Linda Honeycutt has a question. If you could unmute her.
Okay. I'm guessing that's Linda's phone. I actually can't, for some reason, I'm not able to unmute her. I can ask to unmute her, which I have done.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
There you are. Yes. Hey, Linda.
I know this is a little premature, but I was just wondering, are we going to have a nice sign down at the yacht club? The one we have is pretty beat up, and I'm sure we will, but I just kind of wondering if that's is that in the budget?
Yeah, so I can tackle that one. We actually had a discussion on this earlier. First of all, we need to change the sign out anyways because it's reference to the previous name. So
that's right.
And then the metal kind of rusted metal frame. What we're going to end up having a more permanent sign probably than even this. But I think what we'd like to see at this point is a post on either side, not metal, with a full color printed logo and maybe an arrow or something like that that's set up properly, not a metal sign. And this would be our temporary fix to maybe a more permanent monument type sign that has lighting, etc., and maybe some landscaping around it.
How many are zooming in? Do you know?
I see 19.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have any other either questions, raised hands from Zoom or text? Lee, do you want to go ahead and give your phone number out real quick?
Sure.
To anyone that wants to text, and we'll wait a few more minutes.
I actually have another one.
Okay. Well, here, before we do that, let's let Lee give her phone number out.
My phone number is 469-767-4080.
Okay, can you say that one more time, please?
469-767-4080.
4080. Okay. All right. I've got a hand raised from Melissa Short, but let's first go to Chip. He has a question.
All right, so this is a question from Russ Martin. The definition of fall, quote unquote, is September 22nd to December 21st. Do you have anything more specific on opening date or month?
I would say that it would be impossible to give a more specific timeline right now, since we're just getting kicked off. And my hope is that it's as early in that as possible, and we're working towards that. But we definitely want to under promise and over deliver versus putting a date out there and then working against that. So
I think I would go just a little bit further and say we'll have a better feel once we get the building permit and see what stipulations are on the building permit. But as soon as we're comfortable with the schedule that's been laid out, there were some changes that had to be made last week. I think we'll be able to, hopefully in the next few weeks or by the next meeting, be able to give a more,
start narrowing down to maybe like a month. Yeah.
A month. Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed.
So.
Okay. All right.
Not trying to, I want to just make clear here, we're not trying to not give you a date. These things are a moving target, and what we don't want to do is say it's going to be open on this date and then we miss it. We want to, as Evan has said, want to overpromise and over-deliver and get this thing done as soon as. Nobody wants to get it done more than we do. Trust us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll tag onto that. The whole concept of what we're doing here is that getting Kemper in place to take over this as we are ready to go live with the building. The whole point is that we remove this weight off of this board and any future board, so that it runs like a well-oiled machine by people who have a living doing this, and that it can significantly reduce the workload on board members. I know you guys are probably all tired of hearing me say it, but for your neighbors that are on the board to spend 15 to 25 hours a week, that's just over the top. We really need to get this board to more like a 5 to 7 hour a week. That is much more approachable, and also would ensure that in the future that weight load is not so massive that it ends up in poor results. So we're thinking about not just this building, but we're also thinking about the future of boards making decisions and not having to be weighted down by this amount of work. It's just way over the top. So, all right. So we have Melissa. She has raised her hand. Give me 1 second. Have you received any other?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I
Yeah,
think you're good to go, Melissa.
Yeah, I just have a question about the signage. Is there a picture of what the signs are going to look like on Town Square? Do we have, I know you said resort style, but I was looking on Town Square and I couldn't see if there was a picture ever loaded about an example of those.
Are you talking about street signs, or are you talking about
Yes.
the monument sign that we were just talking about?
Yeah, I can answer that. We'll be able to put the graphics out there here shortly, and we have them. So that's a good question.
Yeah.
It
Okay,
looks a
thank
lot like the ones in Heath. Like if you drive down towards the new Tom Thumb, then you'll see the signs like on the right. They look a lot like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
It's going to be
thank you.
it'll be a different color, but
Yeah.
and powder coated. But yeah, that's right. Yeah. Thank you, Melissa. All right. Do we have any other questions?
Not yet. Not yet.
No. Randy, Lizzie, no one's received anything?
No.
Okay. We'll give just a couple more minutes out of respect if anyone's having tech problems or needs to text in to Lee.
Ready for Taste of Chandlers. Woohoo!
Yay, Taste of Chandlers.
Slinging margaritas.
I will let everyone know to be looking for dust down there at the yacht club, because it won't.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be seeing. They're going to be kicking up some dust down there. So
Yeah.
I look forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very exciting. The future, bringing life back into that building and fixing long-standing issues. So no more smells, bad smells.
I'm excited to get the graphics where we can actually present them and have people be able to see it. So.
Yeah. Well, and the good thing is the smells are gone. So
Right.
That's been positive.
Yes. Very positive.
It's good to know.
Uncovered the leaks for sure.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. You can do that when you pull everything back to bare bones.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not seeing any other hands raised. And we've
In that
not
case,
received...
Mr.
Okay.
President, I'd make a motion, we adjourn.
I will
Okay.
second that.
Randy seconds, all in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Aye.
Thank you all for being here today. We look forward to seeing you around the neighborhood.
Have a nice Saturday.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Guys, give me 1 second here.